So Star Wars. Star Wars was always one of those movies where it progressively improved. There are some better than others, of course, but the CGI, let's talk about the CGI. The CG has come a very, very long way. I'm a practical effects guy. I love practical effects from the first Terminator with James Cameron, the first Predator, the first Alien, all right, the first Star Wars directed by George Lucas. The CG for Star Wars have progressively gotten better, but at the same time, I think that the industry is leaning a little bit too much on the CG rather than practicality. That's why I like Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan, amongst other directors, of course, but especially in particular, Christopher Nolan, he's a practical guy. For the most part, if you can't, there's only but so much you can do with CG. He loves practical effects if he can do it. I like that. And that's why he's one of my favorite directors, because he puts his mind to practicality. If you have a hero or character that needs to jump, he's going to use strings, he's going to use rope, he's going to use maybe stunt doubles. All right, but if there's something obviously that's impossible to do, he's going to CG it, but he's going to try everything in his power to practically do it. So on my computer right now, I have the Star Wars movies in chronological order. I don't know if they are chronological order or not, but we'll see. All right, they're probably not, so I'm just gonna name them off. All right, let's see here. There's one that I have never heard of. This came out in 1984. So I'm pretty sure there was no CG back then. Of course they made practical effects and models. Caravan of Courage, an Ewok adventure. I've never heard of that before, and apparently it's I'm looking at here, it's 3 hours and 10 minutes. 1984. Wow. And people are complaining of the run times now. Okay. Next we have Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back. I noticed that Yoda, he was a puppet here. I think let's see, where was it where my man stopped being a puppet? I think it was Attack of the Clones, or let's see, I think it was Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith. Let's see, not Episode 4, not Return of the Jedi, but one of those George Lucas Star Wars films. I know he was a puppet here. Empire Strikes Back. Return of the Jedi, I know they started to dabble a little bit with the CGI and a little bit of animation, not CG, but more practical effects mixed with animation. Let's see, Star Wars A New Hope. The lasers were always animated, computer generated. Of course, you can't do that practically. Star Wars The Clone Wars, of course, 2008, that's completely CG. Star Wars The Phantom Menace had some effects in that. Star Wars Attack of the Clones, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was where Yoda was a mix of practical and CG. Of course, when he was fighting, I remember watching the end sequence when he was in that Coliseum in the dome, and I forgot who he was fighting, but he was flipping all over the place and just somersaulting, just flipping all over the place with his just flipping all over the place, messing people up with his saber. Just flipping all over the place. And the crowd, when Yoda did his thing and started jumping and flipping around and kicking ass, I remember in the theater the crowd went wild, because we never saw that from Yoda before. We never saw Yoda just outright just destroy fools like that. We've never seen that before. I think Attack of the Clones was the first time we've seen it, and the crowd went wild. I remember that clearly. I went wild too. Let's see, Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Of course, 2016, at that time, we've been doing CG. We're well into computer-generated effects. Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, of course. Solo, a Star Wars story. The Last Jedi, of course, and of course, The Force Awakens, I think which was the first of the Last Jedi and the Rise of the Skywalker trilogy. Look at James Cameron's Avatar. What he did in that first movie was extraordinary, and what he did with Avatar 2, The Way of Water, was absolutely, I would say, groundbreaking. Getting the facial expressions and the movement, the human lifelike movement, as close and as realistic as we can possibly get it. We've come a long way with computer generated images. Star Wars has definitely come a long way, and it just kept getting better throughout the years. Don't forget to check out Tommy's Rare Collectibles on Instagram. I will post a link in the comment section below, and feel free to support Tommy's Rare Collection and pick up one of these t-shirts. He has t-shirts, hoodies, collectibles. Stay notified, y'all. I'm outie.